One.
Now, think about this. When we say always behave professionally on the job, what happens when you relax your rules? This goes back to the supervisor's motivation to make you do what's right, or to be sure you're doing what's right. If we say no drinking on the job, no cussing on the job, no wasting time, I'm the supervisor and I see Javon drinking on the job, what should I do? Right. Somebody say fire. Maybe, maybe not. But I do need to stop him somehow. I have to let him know it's not okay. What happens if I come to Billy, you the supervisor, and you come to work and John works for you, and you smell liquor on his breath? What are you going to do?
Send him home for that.
You don't send him home. What would you do, Fred?
Give him one chance.
I don't know what I do.
Yeah, think about what do you think the appropriate response would be?
Drink some more.
What do you think the appropriate response would be?
Let them know.
You smell it. Yeah, to acknowledge it. See, what happens in most cases, though, if we cool, I won't say nothing to you.
It's a safety hazard, though. Yeah,
it's a safety hazard. But I won't, you and Javon, y'all work together, and you the supervisor, but y'all hang out. You know he get drunk. You know he like women. And you know he may get high every now and then. But since y'all been hanging, he got some dirt on you too. So now when you come to work and you the boss, you don't go to him when he drinking and say, hey man, you can't drink at work. Because you know when he say that, he may go to your boss and say, last night we was doing this. So what?
Let them know though. You gotta smell it.
You got to.
Let someone else know.
If you don't let him know, then you're relaxing the rules. Now what happens when you get too many relaxed rules?
Your system stops working properly.
Exactly. And that happens in so many workplaces today. Where the supervisor doesn't hold the line, they let stuff go because they buddies. They become friends, and that, you know, that's one of the worst things you can do at work, and become friends with your boss. You know, because when that happens, now we're in a situation where other people's lives are at stake. If we operating forklifts in a warehouse, and Javon come to work drunk, and since Billy's his boss and they cool, he doesn't say anything, Bree may be walking and she's doing exactly what she's supposed to be doing. And she's outside the other line, she's in the proper spot, but he drunk. Billy know he drunk. But Billy don't say, Javon, you need to go to the house today because you drunk. So what happens most of the time when Bree walking by with her boxes? Get hit with the forklift. Now you got somebody's life in danger. Because that's the number. Forklift is a heavy machine. You don't want to be around that plane. Yeah, it won't bump you and scratch. You know, forklift taking some flesh or some bones with it. You know, because that's a big machine. Those jokers weigh a whole lot of weight. Now, yeah, now if you imagine that, when you start relaxing rules, you start joking a lot. And one more tidbit, just for free. Never talk about your supervisor to your coworker. Why do you think that is? Now, I bet you never understand this one. Why do you think you don't want to talk to your coworker about your supervisor?
They might want to get some
brownie points. Might be a hater. What else? What if you are talking to Javon, because we're using Billy and Javon as the example, and we're going to say cornbread is a supervisor. So, Billy and Javon work together, and they hanging. And Billy get mad at cornbread, and go tell Javon how he can't stand her forehead big, you know, and all that stuff. Now, yeah. So, but you don't know, Javon got something going on with Red. So you talking to Javon about her, and I'm sick of her, this, that, and the other. So when Javon get to the house, you know what Billy said about you. Having all the time. You come to work and she got attitude. What she got attitude with me for? How she know what I said? He make, I don't even know, man. Because, you know, he ain't going to tell you that they doing nothing because you don't want to get out. Because now that's why he get to come to work and don't do nothing. That's why he lazy around the job. You know, we live in a day now, you know, the boss may be a man, you may be talking to a man, you know, hey. I'm just saying. So be careful about that. You don't know what kind of relationships are going on under the surface. And when you go talking negative about people, when it gets back to them, you know the people never going to give it the way you gave it either. Right. It's going to always be made better and sweet. They're going to twist it a little bit to make it sound a whole lot better. So understand that. Somebody told me one day when we were doing this that if you get hired somewhere, work like you'll always have a job. Because my statement was, when you get a job, work like you may never get another job. Because you know we have situations where we can't just quit a job and go get another job because we got a record and people may not be as lenient as the folks that hire us. So do you think that you should work like you will always have a job or work like this may be your last job? What do you think? Somebody, anybody. Everybody at the same time. Like, okay, I know the two ladies said the sisters work like it may be your last. What do you think, Javon? Like, Yeah, what do you think, bitch? Should you work like you're going to always have a job or work like it may be your last?
Right. Gonna be your last.
Yeah, because that creates a sense of urgency. If I feel like this is my last shot, I'm going to give it everything I got. But if I feel like I always have a job, I might get lackadaisical because I can get another one. But we understand that's not always the case. Turn the page with me. Go to page 14. This is where it gets the good stuff. You know, this is when you become really, really deep.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Read that to me, Bill.
Watch your thoughts, they become words. Watch your words, they become actions. Watch your actions, they become habits. Watch your habits, they become character. Watch your character, they become tradition.
What does that mean? Who can help me out? What does that mean? What does it mean? Why should you watch your thoughts? They become what?
Because you continue to do what you always think.
Exactly. So if you don't watch your thoughts, you begin to say stuff you have no business. After you start saying things you don't have in the business, then you start doing those things you shouldn't say. And then after you start doing those things, then they become habits. How many of y'all believe a habit hard to break? Habits are hard to break.
Oh, yeah.
Not just bad habits either. Good habits are hard to break. Now, if you understand that concept, you should make it a habit of doing what's right. Hard to break that habit. That's just, for example, how many of y'all ride your seatbelt all the time? I got two couples that don't. Now, at first I didn't. Before I got locked up, I didn't use a seatbelt. I think I told you this before. I didn't ride with a seatbelt because I didn't feel like it was cool. You know, I couldn't lean my seat all the way back and have a seatbelt on because it looked kind of retarded because it never fit all the way on my body. Because it came from the door jamb and it's like this little space there when you lean back and it's not touching. So I just want to put it on. But when I went to the federal prison, we drove trucks and vehicles on the compound and you couldn't get in the truck and move it without first buckling your belt. So every day, whenever I got in the truck, whenever we moved the truck, I had to buckle my seatbelt for at least 9 months, every day. Get out, get back in, buckle up. Get out, get back in, buckle up. So it became a habit. So now when I'm in my car now, I can't even pull off the drive without putting my seatbelt. It doesn't feel right. It just feels, I feel like I'm naked. So I have to buckle my belt because it's become a good habit. How many of y'all like to be on time? So I mean, when you make that a habit, he may not have gone to raise his hand, but say, you look at him getting the Jedi mind trick, they ain't come up. Yeah. But if you make being on time a habit, when you're not on time, what happens, Cornbread?
You just be in a rush. You be in habit, like you just trying to catch up with the environment.
Yeah, how you feel when you late? You mad? Sunday morning in my house, I hate them because my wife get the kids. We get the kids together, right? And I'm trying to help her get the kids right. She be like, well, no, I got it. But we get to church 5 minutes late. And I'm sitting there mad because I'm ready. And I can put a pep on and just give it to me. And I'm ready. And no, she won't do it. Yeah, y'all can tell I said it when you get out of here. Yeah. And I get to church 5 minutes late. And I could have been there 20 minutes ago. But she want to do it all. Don't ever be like that, ladies. Want to do it all. Yeah, I'll get you with it. Yeah. Because see, your habits become character. Who can tell me what character is? What is character? And I'm not talking about cartoon figures either. What is character?
Makeup, personality.
Personality, your makeup. What you say, Bill? They say the same thing, yeah. Give me in your words, what is character?
It's what you exemplify as being important to you.
Good deal. What you exemplify, being important to you. Now, what is a reputation?
What you known for.
How people know you.
Yeah. Now, in the hood, what's more important? In the hood.
Advertise.
The reputation is more important in the hood. What's more important in the business world?
Character.
So, if you understand that, the hood mentality will not work at work. I don't want people to know me for being that guy that's strictly with it at the job.
Right.
It may work when I'm in the hood because when I come outside and I'm mad, people know to move and get down, so maybe something happening. But I don't want to have that same reputation at work. He the one, he come in here, if you don't say what he do, what he wants you to do, he'll shoot you. You don't want that. So, we have to be sure we put them in proper perspective because our young people have a misconception. But if you have good character, then your reputation will precede you, but it won't be negative. Because if you do what's right all the time, even when nobody's looking, that's character. And people see you doing that, and then it becomes your destiny. Then folks want to hire you. People want to know you because you're a good character. What people say about convicted felons is they lack moral character. Yeah, that's the newest... the newest diagnosis is why we break the law, why we used to break the law, because we lack moral character. I beg to differ with that, but that's what the brains say, the thinkers say. That's because you lack character. Because there's nowhere in the world that someone with character would take somebody's car with a pistol. Nowhere in the world somebody with character would sell drugs to people knowing what it does. Nowhere in the world somebody with character would take money out of other people's accounts with checks that aren't real.
So did
But
John Q have character?
That's why I say I beg to differ. Because even though I was breaking the law, I still had standards of what I would and wouldn't do.
Right.
Now, just because the standards don't meet your standards, that was still I wouldn't take from churches. You know, there were certain things that I wouldn't do. I had character, but I had to eat too.
Right.
You know, sometimes you get in a situation where there's some misconceptions. I won't say that your thinking is right, but I don't consider it a lack of character. I just think of it as a bad decision-making process. You know, you don't really appreciate the consequences of your action. And sometimes the consequences don't outweigh what you need. There are people that break the law to eat. But there are people like me that broke the law to get greedy. Big difference. So even when you talk about criminals in general, you have to look at the different levels. Because you got the man selling nickel and dime rocks that's buying Pampers with the money. But then you got Fred that's serving him, buying vets with the money. You don't treat them the same way. Because they ain't doing the same thing. You say they sell dope. True, but why is Fred selling dope? Fred went to Vegas last week. Fred going to Hawaii next week. But now you got Javon selling nickel rocks on the corner because he got to put bread in the refrigerator.
That's a good point, right there.
Yeah, because you right there in front. So now think about that. How do you treat them the same?
Good point.
How do you rehabilitate them the same way? It's impossible. Because Fred doing it out of greed. Javon doing it because he's hungry.
Yeah.
But what happens is, since Javon is seeing the ability to have upward mobility in the dope game, now he's trying to be Fred. And when he moves from just being a nickel and dime and trying to get packages, see, now you got to treat him differently. Because he ain't the same guy. Stoney may be robbing folks. Because he got to eat. He robbed Henry coming out of Walgreens because he saw Henry pull out $50. He needs some Pampers. Henry got $30 in change. The Pampers cost $15. He took the $30 so he could buy baby Pampers. But then you got Billy here that go rob the bank for $75,000 because he want to buy him some 26s. Is that the same thing? But people, if you don't understand that, is that a lack of character? You know, or what is that? Or is it a bad decision?
With who?
Of the person that's breaking the law. Is that bad character that you would take his money? Or that you would rob a bank? Is that a lack of character? Or, take another example.
A lack of knowledge.
Now we're going to use Javon again. Javon been in the house, and the reason he's selling nickel and dime rocks is because his big brother John been selling dope for a long time. And all he knew was John would sell dope and pay the bills. That's all he knew. He grew up watching John sell drugs. So now when Javon becomes 19, 20 years old, out on his own, he goes selling dope. Now, is that a lack of character?
A lack of knowledge.
Because he never seen people that went to work every day. And that's what we have to realize. When we deal with our people, we have to realize that that's a lot of times what happens. I do what I see. I do what I know. Children do what their parents do in a lot of cases. Or they do what their role models do. And we got some negative role models.
And you keep repeating the vicious circle.
Right.
You know, the vicious circle.
Exactly.
Thank you for all this stuff.
Because you don't know how to change. But you have to interject something from somewhere that changes that. That's what we're supposed to be trying to do now. That's why we meet every day. So we can learn how to put something positive in a negative situation and try to change it. Because you know, if you dilute it long, if you dilute poison enough, it won't hurt you. We got to find a way to dilute that negative stuff enough that our children then don't begin to repeat the vicious cycle or the vicious circle that we've been in. We got to get out of it. But somebody got to stop it. But nobody brave enough to put the hand in there to quit. Because you know, you might get your fingers cut off. That's okay to me. You know, is it okay to y'all? You mind taking a bullet? Yeah, you mind taking some shots?
Depends who it's for.
Yeah. And now, let me go a little deeper with that one. Guess I thank you. You said it depends who it's for. Who is worthy of your bullet? Who is worthy for you to take a bullet for? Where do you draw the line?
Like an individual?
Yeah, just what in general. What would you draw the line? Who wouldn't you take a bullet for?
I wouldn't take a bullet for Bush.
Bush. He had a name. He had a name. That's beautiful. So do you have that same restriction, Billy?
Right.
Are there certain people you wouldn't take a bullet for?
Yeah.
Who would you take a bullet for?
Somebody that failed to get explained or whatever.
Okay. What about you, Stone?
I ain't taking no bullet for nobody who ain't down for the cause, man.
Okay. What about you, cornbread?
I ain't taking no bullet for nobody that don't want to change.
Oh, look at these deep people. Y'all so selfish. I'll take a bullet for anybody. Because everybody needs a chance. Think about it that way. Because, see, there may be people that want it but don't know how to express it. Or there may be people that need a little time to get to that place. Because, you know, how many of y'all got it together right
There
quick?
be some people don't want to do it anymore.
True, but remember, that was the day that you didn't want to do it, wasn't it, Billy?
Right.
And what if nobody taking bullet? You never would have get the shot. See, that's what we got to think about. It's called, you know, we got it together now. That's great. But there was a time when we didn't care about nothing but what we was trying to do.
True.
And we have to be sure we remember that one, because we're going to have people that come in here that don't seem to want it right now. We got to be patient and love them enough to show them why it's important and take a bullet for them, because they need a chance. You know, if it means I got to die so you can live, I do that. Because my life is not on this side nowhere. This is just, you know, passing through. But that ain't what we're talking about. So, positive behavior and attitude. How many of you have a positive attitude all the time? How many of you got a positive attitude? You see, I hit the best. How many of y'all positive? Raise your hand if you're a positive person. Both foot, all that.
All that.
Yeah. So how many of y'all exude positive behavior?
I'm kind of lost on the
Woo! Oh, exude, yeah. Yeah, exude, show.
word. Okay.
Yeah. How many of you are, what a better word than show would be to possess and distribute or use,
Okay. I'm with you.
emanate.
I'm with you. I can raise my hand.
Okay, great. I like that. Good. So, now I'm asking a question. How we see ourselves. And that's in the book. It's in the book. How we see it. Usually, how many of you all think that you have a good view of yourself? Stone, raise your hand. Anybody else? Free? Okay. The hands coming up slowly. How many of y'all see yourselves in a good light? You see yourselves as just being a good. Okay. Raise your hand. Okay. See some no hand. Oh, don't try to come by default now, cornbread. What was the reluctance for? Help me out. Explain. Yeah, she was reluctant. Why were you reluctant?
Because I'm still in the learning process.
Okay.
I mean, I still feel like I got some old characteristics need to be kicked.
Mm-hmm.
But I know I developed a lot of good attributes in myself too. So
All right.
I'm still learning. So it's like, I guess it depends on what button you push in my situation.
Okay. How many of y'all think that you are hard on yourself than you are on other people? Oh, look at Javon. Javon said, no, not me. Javon said, not me. I like that. So you hard on other folk than you are on yourself.
Yeah, but not. I don't speak on it though.
Yeah, I understand. That's cool. Yeah. Where you going?
I gotta get
See, where you gotta go?
on Jackson.
For what?
It's a business.
What you gotta do?
My house got knocked down.
Yeah, okay. Where you going?
On Jackson.
I ain't tell you to leave. No, I'm just playing. LRG. All right, LRG. All right, man. Yeah, let me find out your line too.
Oh no.
I know. So, positive attitude, how we see ourselves. Most of the time, our viewpoint of ourselves is negative. We don't see ourselves in a positive light. We see other people as better.